right, guys. This is another Sunday special, and I have a special guest. I have the great Mr. Peter Lee from Relics, and we're going to be talking about Christmas. How are you doing, Peter?
I'm doing well. Thank you, Mac. How are you doing?
Very well myself. And I'm really excited about this topic, Christmas. And so let's just get right into it. Let's first talk about the star, right? We'll talk about the three wise men. They're looking up and they find the star. Can you elaborate and explain to the listeners and viewers, for those who know about the story of the birth of Jesus, and then we'll get into more about the date. But let's talk first about the star. If you could elaborate on that, Peter.
All right. I'd be happy to, right? So let me just start by saying to all those people who say, let's keep the Christ in Christmas, and right above that they have a picture of Jesus's nativity scene and the star above them, and have the three wise men bowing down to them, all in one shot. Well, let's get the story straight before we even talk about putting Jesus back into Christ, right? Or putting Christ back into Christmas. But the star, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of people say that since the Bible says it's the stars, so it's going to be the star. But the definition of the star itself has changed, right? I don't dispute the Bible and say that the Bible is wrong by saying it's not a star, but I challenge everybody to think that the definition of things have changed over the years. For example, right, Jonah was swallowed by a whale, right? And then we turn around and say Jonah could not have been swallowed by a whale because whales have a very thin esophagus and could not have been swallowed by a whale. A whale cannot swallow a man. However, if you actually think about the definition of the whale definition long time ago, before it was categorized as a mammal, was defined as a very large fish, right? And if you take a look at the Bible in terms of Job, it talks about the behemoth, but it also talks about the Leviathan. Great large fish, which is really second to none in the animal kingdom, right? So when you take a look at the Leviathan back then, it would have been categorized as a fish, or would have been categorized as a whale, right? So the words in the English language has changed. Now, to that effect, if you go back to Genesis chapter 1, on the fourth day, Mac, do you mind if we actually go to Genesis chapter 1 in New King James Version, and allow me to actually...
Yes, go. Take your time.
Chapter 1, verse 14. Then God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. So clearly that is the sun, right?
Yes.
And let them be for signs and seasons and days and years, and let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth. And so it was so. God was clearly talking about the sun and the moon and the stars, right?
Yes.
And then it's actually interesting to read, because it says in chapter 1 verse 16, then God made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day and the lesser light to rule the night, and he made the stars also, right? So if you think about this entire day, God made the stars, the sun, and the moon, and then the stars, right? So again, if I may read verse 14, God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of heavens to divide the day from the night, and let there be for signs and seasons, and for days and years." Well, for days, clearly, it's sun and the moon, but for seasons and years, you need the stars to actually
Yes.
determine the years, and then let them be for lights in the firmament of the heavens to give light on the earth, right? And it was so. And God made two great lights, the greater light for the rule the day, and the lesser for to rule the night. And He made the stars also. So clearly, He made. I would like to say the spiritual light, and although the light in the lights that we're talking about is not spiritual, but the spiritual version, if you will, of the lights of the sun and the moon and the stars, and the actual physical version of the stars and moon and the light, the sun and the moon and the stars, right? So if we talk about these stars being heavenly servants, maybe even like cherubims, right?
Yes.
Then we could actually imagine that these stars are cherubims. Now, the reason why I say that is because if we take a look at the closest star in the universe, next to the sun, right? That's the Alpha Centauri or Alpha Centauri happens to be like the third closest, but it's close enough. We can't figure out whose house that's above. So then if we go to the closest star, which is the sun, and we figure out where's the sun, whose house is the sun above, we still can't figure it out. Well,
yes.
We could do it with the modern computers, but not by just looking up into the sky. So then if we look at the next closest heavenly body, the moon, which is a million times closer to us than the sun, we still can't figure out whose house that moon is over. So then let's take an airplane flying 30,000 feet above the Earth's surface, and we look up. Could we figure out whose house the airplane 30,000 feet above the surface is? No. So then let's go to a helicopter, which is flying fairly high, right? Could we take a helicopter on a high flight and say that's whose house it's over?
Wow.
No.
Wow.
Right?
I love this.
Now it has to. Now the star had to be lower than the helicopter.
Wow.
Right?
Wow. That's great. I love it.
Right. So then you say, well, maybe the star shone light onto this barn, right? Okay, let's say it did. What star shines light only puts a spotlight only to a specific house, right?
Exactly.
So then you say, well, what do you come up with saying that the star is actually not a burning ball of fire up in the sky?
Exactly.
Well, if you look at the Bible, Leviticus and Deuteronomy, there appears a man who was talking to a donkey, but he was talking to a donkey, and God afterwards said to him, "There shall rise a star out of David who will lead my people," right? So then a star will lead his people. So are you telling me that a burning ball of fire up in space, out in outer space somewhere, is going to lead his people? So if you take a look at these things, it's clear that it wasn't a ball of fire up in outer space that appeared. And so let's not just conclude very quickly to turn around and say hey, you know what? Christmas star appeared up and out in the universe somewhere, and we follow and people followed it, and that's true because the Bible said so. Yeah, the Bible said so, but you also have to know what the word star was back when it was written.
Exactly.